What up world, Digimon the mic, you know what it is. We're currently in BT10, absolute short format, and we're diving straight into EX3, which is going to be released next week on the 11th of November, which is pretty hype because it means our boy, he's coming back. He's on the glow up, and I'm all for it. Eating it like a bowl of Kellogg's. Delicious. So in this video we're going to be breaking down what I'm going to be piloting in EX3, the sauce, the spice, and all things nice. So if this is the video for you, then stick around and enjoy. If you are new to the channel and you like what you see, then make sure you subscribe and turn the notification bell because I do videos on the reg. Obviously I have changed the format a little bit. We are using a different essentially Digimon card dev, which looks pretty sick. I'm not gonna lie, really like the UI. HUD is sweet, but enough of me gushing. Let's get over to these ratios. So as you can see, when EX3 does come over to us, essentially what Guillamon or what Gallantmon has is essentially more of a kind of trashing play style, in a sense of it's actually taking into account your trash as well as the opponent's trash, which is pretty sick because Bandai seems to be going down the direction of save, and everything just seems to save everything, so nothing's actually getting in trash in order for this whole archetype to even do what it's intended to do. So it's good that we do have some tools that we can utilize in order to kind of build up that trash by just us actually climbing to our end goal, which is obviously going to be your Gallantmon in your Crimson mode. So in terms of the ratios, as you can see, level 3 we do have 12, level 4 10, level 5 we've got 9. We've bloated that out a little bit because obviously we are we are trashing stuff from our deck, so we do need to ensure that we kind of have a bit more Digimon in those areas, so we can actually even get up there, because you know, we could essentially trash 2 ultimates, which isn't nice at all, and there's no way to kind of get that back from trash to your hand. And then up for level 6 we do run 7, and then level 7s we run 2. So obviously our top end is pretty much where we go with more of like an OTK kind of heavy aggression, all gas, no brakes, happy days. So let's go to what we actually running. Digimon is the egg, the only egg you need, because ideally you just want to be, obviously when you're attacking you want to be just drawing your pieces, and this is what this egg facilitates, so no need for more description on that. Obviously if you got Gallantmon, Growlmon, or Guillamon in the name, draw 1, banging, awesome. That's pretty much our whole line right here, so all good stuff. Then in terms of the level 3, so we still run 4 Guillamon X Antibody. This is really a strong card because when digivolving for free, you're able to pop a Digimon with 3000 DP or less. Really good and really handy as well. Obviously, depending on the actual board state, say if you've used your War Growlmon to summon out a Guillamon, and then you have this, you can obviously effectively do that for free, depending on the inheritable of your main stack. If you've got any that's going to be adding additional K to that deletion DP threshold, this effectively is a really cheap removal option, whilst you're still obviously getting that aggression, which is hella sick. So definitely run that at 4 for sure. Then for your Guillamon Searcher, EX2, definitely staple. This boy comes in clutch. Obviously now that we've got ways to essentially summon out Guillamons from trash, this is going to be great for just adding that consistency, which is just really good. So you're able to reveal top 4, and then you're able to add a card with Growlmon or Gallantmon in its name, and then add one to Kado from amongst them, and then place the cards in the order of the deck. So really good. Obviously you can net 2, which is banging, exactly what you need. Obviously you're getting your Takado, and you're just getting more of your pieces for your top end or mid end, or basically any that you are missing. So you want to be running this definitely at 4. And then inevitable wise, you're able to delete a Digimon with 3000 DP or less, obviously depending on the DP increasement, well, deletion increasements that you've got in terms of inevitables. Obviously you could delete more, so really strong. And then we still run the starter deck 7 Guillamon, so this is essentially your warp kind of Guillamon. Ideally you kind of using it more for the draw, but if you want to get back in the game, this is going to be really handy. Now obviously that we can summon out a Guillamon from trash, this could be a really good option right there, just kind of warp up into a Gallantmon if you want to kind of use its deletion effects when digivolving and so forth. So really powerful play. Also inheritable wise, obviously you draw 1, obviously drawing your pieces when you delete something, really good. So ideally you want to be running that at 4. So that concludes the rookie lineup. Going into the champions, we do run 1 Burning Grey. This is obviously a hybrid for game. This is ideally one of the best hybrids that you can use, because effectively you can actually, if it's in raising, you can evo for 1 to obviously build up that stack a little bit more. If you're kind of wanting to just draw a few more pieces, you can do that. Or if you obviously evoing on top of a Tamer, you are going to be getting that for the cost of 2, which is obviously standard. That's the same as a Digimon. You're not really bothered with the when Digivolving effect, because you're not evolving on top of Takuya, so don't worry about that. So this is primarily just your hybrid for game. Always have 1. Honestly, this has saved my bacon and really got me back in the game, especially when the opponent's like cleared my board. I've like got a cheeky little Burning Greymon in the back, got X antibody, and it's like, yeah, happy days. I'm cooking back on gas again. Then in terms of Growlmon X antibody, we've had to knock this down to 2, because we do have a Growlmon that we have to add in, which actually takes precedence. But this one is still good, just in order for you to obviously get that inheritable to increase DP threshold of deletion effects. Really sweet. Obviously, either for cost of 0 on top of a Growlmon, always winning. So we do run that at 2. Ideally, you still want to be running the starter deck 7 Growlmon, just because you are going to be gaining that memory back when you delete something. This is still pretty staple. It's so powerful when you're using this with your Takuya. When you delete something, just really just netting that memory back in order for you to extend your plays. So ideally, you want to be running that 4. And then let's go over into the new Growlmon, which is so sick, because when you Digivolve on top of a Gallantmon, it does cost you 2, which is awesome. Obviously, if you're not either on top of a Gallantmon, it's going to cost you 3, and you have to either on top of a purple Digimon. But let's go over the effect here. So when Digivolving, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 3000 DP or less. Obviously, depending on your inheritable stack, that can actually increase to 4000 if you do have the X antibody Gallantmon underneath. Then, if no Digimon was deleted by this effect, trash the top 2 cards of both players' decks. So this is what I mean, where it's kind of like you've got your own self mill, and you also got the you can mill some of your opponents. So that's really good in terms of disrupting their plays, because they might be, you know, clutching on some clutch cards, you know, but then you've actually trashed it, which is just sick. But obviously be careful, depending on obviously your matchup, you might be fueling their win condition there as well, so obviously be careful. And then the inheritable. So when attacking once per turn, by deleting one of your other Digimon, this Digimon gains security attack +1, which is actually really key and really goes with the new kind of style of support that this archetype got. So for me, we are running that at 3. Obviously, you can flex it depending on obviously what you want to do, but I do feel that the Star Deck 7 Growlmon is still pretty crucial, and can, you know, it's just such a good card. Such a good card. But this right here is adding that all gas no brakes kind of OTK strategy that we want with that inheritable. So going over to the ultimates, so standard we are running the 2 War Growlmon X antibody. This is still a really good card, really good for like essentially board removal, depending on obviously your inheritables, you know, boosting that threshold from 6,000 to essentially 8,000 is really strong. right there, it just broadens that range awesomely, so really good. And then you can able to gain that memory back, because you do put essentially on deletion lose a memory, not gain a memory, which effectively for us is kind of us gaining memory, which is really cool mechanic right there. So obviously you only can get the deletion effect if you've evoed on top of a War Growlmon or you've got X antibody in your stack. Otherwise, if you don't, essentially you're just getting the on deletion lose 2 memory on 2 of the opponent's Digimon. So just obviously be careful on that one. But we do run that at 2. Then we've got to run our boy starter deck 7 Growlmon, which is War Growlmon, which is just obviously still staple, still having that extra security tag, which is banging if you delete something. And then when attacking with this Digimon, you're able to delete an opponent's Digimon with 3000 DP or less. Like I say, depending on obviously the inheritables underneath, that does increase. Really staple, really good for the kind of OTK strategy that we've kind of got going on with this build. So ideally you do want to be running that for, and something that you want to obviously be seen in stack. But we do have another option, which this effectively helps you to set up plays for your EX3 Gallantmon ESS. So with this, if you either on top of a Gallantmon, it just costs you 3, which is banging. Obviously, if you don't do that, it's going to cost you 4, and it has to be on top of a purple, so pretty expensive. So when digirolling, trash the top 3 cards of both players' decks. So this is what I mean. It's essentially you're self-milling yourself, and obviously you are trashing cards from the opponent. So this is the reason why we've kind of bloated this line out a little bit, because ideally, you know, we are at risk of actually trashing some of our megas and ultimates right here. So from then if either player has five or more cards in their trash, play 1 Gallantmon or Takato from your hand or trash without paying its memory cost, which is just beautiful. Right here, it's just you setting up the board, setting up some awesome combo plays, which is banging. If you've not got a Takato out, you can get a Takato out. If you've got Takato out, you can get a Gallantmon out. You can get your Gallantmon EX2 searcher going, get that popping off, search for some more cards. Just ensures that you're going to be securing that OTK range when you are popping off into your Gallantmon, and obviously your Gallantmon X, and then you're going into your Crimson mode and so forth. So really strong. I do like what they're doing with this. Obviously, if you do either into this and then go into your War Gallantmon X antibody, even more shenanigans. It's just really, really powerful. I do like the addition of this card. It's probably one of the best cards that I got introduced in EX3, so really loving the support. We do run that at 3. Ideally, you still want to be kind of going into your War Gallantmon right here, but it really depends on the situation. So I think 3 is just a perfect amount, and then obviously going into your War Gallantmon X antibody is just going to be really helpful for you to essentially clear board, ready for you to set up for your level 6 plays, which obviously we've got right here. So going over to the level 6s, we do run the BT2 Gallantmon as a more of a tech option, because now that we've got a way to essentially effectively do more trashing without actually essentially triggering deletion effects from us, really helps with this. And it's kind of like more like a mini Crimson Crimson mode if you can't find him. So for people that don't know, it does digiroll for a cost of 4, which is fine, because obviously if we do have to Takato out on the field, we're going to be blitzing anyway. And then when digirolling, if you have a Tamer in play, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 6,000 DP or less. Obviously, depending on the ESSs underneath this Digimon, the threshold is going to be increased to a maximum of, I think it's going to be 8k, which is pretty strong right there. And then when attacking, being quite a crucial thing here, trash one of your opponent's security cards for every 10 cards in their trash, which is just, like I say, really strong, because say if you was going to go into Gallantmon X antibody, you can trigger this off before you go into that Digimon. So you effectively, you could be trashing up to 2 cards and go for some big heavy swinging, which is just really, really strong. And then obviously, depending on the deletions that's done prior to that, you've triggered off your ESSs with your, say you're going, would have been your EX3 Gallantmon, and then if you've got War Gallantmon in the stack, that's going to be just, yeah, beautiful checks, like three checks cooking beautifully. You pretty much can wipe the whole stack out, which is just really, really good. So really good tech option right there. You could easily remove that if you've not got BT2 Gallantmon and just add another starter deck Gallantmon. That's absolutely fine. It's completely up to you. So going over to actually starter deck Gallantmon. So this is going to be your, you know, your all gas, pedal to the metal boy right here, because natively it just has an additional security tag, which is good, which is really good. It is at 11k, so it's a little bit squishy, but we do have Hero on deck ready to charge this boy up. So when attacking here as well, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 4,000 DP or less. Like I say, ESS is underneath, going to increase our threshold. If no Digimon was deleted, this Digimon then gains 3,000 DP for turn. So ideally what you want to be doing is making sure that you've pretty much cleared out their whole board, or at least cleared out their low level Digimon, which doesn't meet this threshold, in order for you to kind of get that boost, which is just really, really good. So definitely want to run this at 3. Like say, if you don't have BT2 EX2 Gallantmon. You can just sack that off and bump this up to 4 if you want to. But I do like just the additional tech and a different option. And it just kind of facilitates our win condition, and it kind of justifies the reason of not running Delicate Plan, because effectively we're trashing cards from their security anyway. So yeah, run that free. Nice 3-3 split when I go into when we go into our nice Gallantmon X Antibody, which is just full of the drip. I tell you, really like this card. Because if you Evo on top of a Gallantmon, it does cost you 1, which is absolutely fine. That's pretty cheap right there. Obviously, if you don't, it's a cost of 4, which, like I say, we are going to be blitzing when Takato's on the field. Winning. So, when Digivolving, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with the lowest DP. If no Digimon was deleted by its effect, unsuspend this Digimon. Beautiful. That's obviously going to be securing our, essentially, our Crimson play. Go for that blitz, then, depending on what their trash is looking like, then we can literally, blitz for game in that sense. And then once per turn, when an opponent's Digimon is deleted, if Gallantmon or X Antibody is in this Digivolution source, trash the top card of the opponent's security stack. So this is really good, because this doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be this card that has to delete something. It's basically any card that is deleted on the opposition side, then you'll be able to just trash that, which is awesome, because this whole deck's just got so many tools that can just basically just trash well, delete the opponent, which is just really cool. So definitely run this at 3. This is definitely a card that you do want to be seeing. I think, to be honest, all the Gallantmons that's listed here is absolutely winning. There's no bad side to this. Obviously, with this one, it does require a little bit of trash setup right there, but like I say, we have got ways to set up that trash, and got ways to delete boards and so forth. And then lastly, going into our level 7, which you probably already know, is going to be our Crimson mode, which is obviously running at 2. This card, very strong. It's just, if the trash is set up right, this card is just smacking for yes. It's just unbelievable right here, because when Digivolving, delete all of your opponent's Digimon with the highest DP. So depending obviously on my board state, if they've got like a wide board with all same DP Digimon, boom, that's all just wiped out. That's just, once again, fueling that trash. And obviously that triggers before the actual blitz ability, which then you're going to be trashing their top security, depending on obviously how much security they got. So in essence, this Digimon can trash up to 2 if there is 10 cards in trash, because you trash 1 anyway, and then you trash an additional for every 10 in their trash, which is just cracked. It's absolutely cracked. Swinging for face. GG, boys. Fold up the mat and go home. That's what this boy is doing, and we love to see it. We do run that at 2, like I say, because we are trashing stuff. Ideally, we don't want to be at risk of trashing two Gallantmons, Crimson. So definitely run that at 2. You could obviously go with the Blitz Omni. Really depends as obviously as a budget, but Crimson Road's definitely going to be your boy. So going over to the Tamers, pretty short and sweet on this. We do run 5 in total, and this is going to be obviously your hero. This is just to help making sure that our glass cannon of Gallantmon is going to be at least swinging for 13 if he's not deleted anything off. Well, if he's deleted something based off his effect. Really just staple memory setter. This deck needs it. Which is all just good. I don't need to go into any more detail with that. You could bump it up to 3 if you want to, but I think 2's just enough. Because ideally, your main Tamer is going to be your Takato. Takato just facilitates so much in this deck, because it enables you to blitz, enables you to gain memory when you delete something, then you suspend it. It's just such a good combo extender. You want to be getting sat on the board sharpish, and now we have the tools to do that. It's just winning. It's just so good. So good. So do you want to be running that 3? You could bump it up to 4 if you want to, but I think 3 is just a nice sweet spot. Ideally, you want to kind of have 1 or 2 on the board. Realistically, so propped off insecurity, winning, throw it down based off your World Groundmon effect, winning. Honestly, there's just easier ways to get this card out on the field now, which is good. So going over to the actual options, keeping that short and sweet as well, we do run 5. Going to be your 2 Crimson Blazers. I think it's going to be really staple in the EX3 format, just because it's all about those wide boards. This is probably so broken in Gallantmon, because Gallantmon increases DP threshold. So it actually works with this as well. So effectively, what? It deletes 6k and that's just all. So it's not like up to 6k. It's just basically if you've got Digimon at 6k or less, it'll just flat out delete it. So with Gallantmon out on the field, you're going to be looking, this is going to be hitting for like 8k board removal. If you happen to have Gallantmon, you throw this down. Crazy. Absolutely crazy right there. 8k, that's a lot. That is definitely a lot. And as well, it stops Digimon being played by effects, which is just really strong. This just shuts down Jessmon completely. It's actually really annoying. So you do want to be running that at 2. Could bump it up to 3 if you want to, but I think it's just going to be too clunky at that point. Then we do run the 2 red memory boosters. I think this is still a crucial card. Obviously, our deck has got essentially we've got a searcher running that at 4. With this, effectively we've got 2 searchers which could search out all of our pieces nicely because we're not running any other color. So yeah, real top 4, add a red Digimon, banging. Then delay, gain 2 memory, really good for those super power plays. So you do want to be running that too. And a nice little spicy tech, we do run at least 1 X antibody. I still stand by it that I run 1 X antibody in BT9 format, and I kid you not, the amount of times I saw this card at 1 was unbelievable and really came clutch. Say if you've just not got a War Groundmon other than your War Groundmon X antibody, this just slotting underneath just means that you're going to be getting the effect of deletion. This whole deck is all about that deletion, and to not have this accompany with that, depend obviously your hand, is kind of sad. It's kind of sad that it can also just kind of stop your plays a little bit. So I do like just having the 1, even propped off in security. It just gains you 1 memory, which is just good. And then as well, all turns, you know, no cards can be trashed underneath. So this obviously is going to the bottom stack. So even if they try to strip your card sources, they can't. Which is just good. It's just really strong card, and I think it's just an absolutely fantastic tech. I don't run Cool Boy. The reason why I don't run Cool Boy, because it just freaking ruins, it can literally bottom deck half of your actual chess pieces, which is just not good at all. So I don't run it in this build, and I don't think you need to. I don't struggle getting pieces. I get pieces just quite fine. If anything, it gets to a point where I've actually nearly milling myself out because I'm just drawing so much just due to how I'm evoing. But obviously that might slow down now that we have reduced our X antibody line a little bit, but you know, we'll have to wait and see on that. So guys, that is your boy done. If you enjoyed the video breakdown, obviously you can see the ratios there. Then make sure you smash it with a like as standard, and have an awesome day. Peace out, Dread out.